Hi, this is Mamta Sahota. I am your realtor and I am an investor as well who brings you the best projects in the industry. As an investor, I only talk about those projects where I have invested or I am so confident investing in. So today, I'm super duper excited. I am sitting here with Jason Lam. He's the VP Sales and Marketing with CentreCourt, and we are going to talk about that kind of project where you're going to make money and will have great returns. So we are talking about
prime condominiums.
Thank you so much for your time, Jason. Today I'm going to ask you questions which are straight coming from my clients.
Okay.
So that we understand the project well, understand the industry, and we'll be asking questions more from the first time investor's perspective.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
So let's start.
I'm excited. Let's do this.
Okay.
Question number one.
All right. First of all, let's start with the previous project, 8 Wellesley.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the project got sold out in a week's time. It's awesome.
Yeah, for those of you that want context, the team at CentreCourt launched 8 Wellesley, which is on the northwest side of Yonge and Wellesley. It was a 599 suite, 55-story building, and we sold over $500 million in a matter of days. And I think the big picture, when you take a step back, is the confidence that the market has in downtown again. I think a lot of people for the last 8 to 10 months were scared to talk about downtown.
Absolutely.
But the exact opposite is happening. You're seeing a number of 905 price growth, price appreciation, and now you're looking back downtown and you're seeing a ton of value. And all it takes is a drive downtown on a sunny Saturday for you to really understand why downtown is so incredibly popular.
Awesome. Now, next question. There are hundreds of projects launching every year in different parts of GTA and around.
Right.
Why downtown Toronto?
Let's talk about why prime.
Okay.
Because I think I want to be able to apply it to something that makes sense for our
that
purchaser.
was my next question, but let's start
combine
with
those. Let's combine those two questions. So, right now there's a host of options, and they're all great options. They're master plan communities. They're legacy developments that will completely change certain environments. And there's a lot of 905. There's a lot of fringe 416. You're seeing fewer and fewer downtown products, and that's been happening for a couple of years now. You're seeing a big explosion of the areas, the submarkets that surround true downtown Toronto. And I think that's great. I think that speaks to people's want to buy. I think that speaks to our evolution as a city and urban planning. But what makes downtown Toronto so unique, and in particular prime, is it has something that no one else has. We're talking about first-time investors, first-time buyers. So you want a foundation, you want a safety net, you want comfort. Because I think the reason why people don't buy real estate is because they're afraid. Right? So when you look at prime, it has something that no other condominium site today has, and that's what I call an insurance policy. We've got an insurance policy at prime that no other site has, and that's access directly across the street to 47,000 students at Ryerson. There's no condominium that has that. And that 47,000 students grows every year. And there's 0 beds on campus. There's a very small percentile, 2.6 to 2.7%, which means that over 40,000 students have to find somewhere to live. That's not a small number. Forget about faculty. Forget about international students. This pool is constantly regenerating, right? And they depend on the public, the private sector, your investors, to live, right? So all you parents out there that have sent their kids off to school, paid for tuition, paid for the rent, you're a prime example. You can relate to this. That's the insurance policy that prime can offer. That's downtown, institutions, infrastructure. So step 2, why downtown, in particular to prime? You're a 10-minute walk to Yonge Street, the center of Toronto. Retail, convenience, culture, lifestyle, energy, development, growth. But not just that, you've got access to 2 subway stations, Yonge and Dundas Square, which is in itself is a landmark, and you've got Eaton Center and all of that. Then you've got College subway station. But the beauty about downtown is that I don't need them. Why? Because everything's walkable. There are sites that without the subway it is not a site. Your buyers wouldn't buy without that subway.
Absolutely.
Is that enough? Maybe it is. But the beauty about downtown is that you don't need all of it. You've got Ryerson, you've got Yonge Street, you've got what comes with Yonge Street. You've got subway access that gives you connectivity to the rest of the city, the rest of the GTA, should you need it. But the walkability factor of walking to work, the next step, number 3, is employment. I can walk to the University Health Network, the mecca of medical and related sciences, technology, right? That is the big 5 hospitals. So you've got tens of thousands of jobs, high-paying jobs. Then you've got the financial district, 15-minute walk away. I don't need a subway for that. I don't need a GO station for that. And it's built today. I'm not waiting for a 10-year, 20-year project. It's built right now. So let's not kid ourselves. So the funny thing about the financial district is that it's growing east. With each passing day, it's getting closer and closer to prime. Why? Because the city is moving east. Not because it wants to, because it has no other choice.
Yes.
Right? So now you've got employment, high-end finance, law, technology, entertainment, medical and related sciences, the medical field, and all of that is walkable. That's the most important, is employment. So now you've got this buffer of a never-ending rental pool of students. You don't like that? No problem. We've got the subway that connects you to the rest of the city. You don't like that? No problem. We've got over 500,000 jobs in the downtown core. If that's not good enough for you, that will not, you won't buy anything else. Nothing else will make sense. So that's why downtown is so popular. That's why I believe in the downtown core, because these won't change. And these are built today. We're not buying for the future. We're not hoping that someone can bring to life this story, right? And it's going to take decades. So, and then so the next thing is value. When you look at Yonge Street, and I know this question, I'm totally blasting this question on another planet, but now you've got me started.
This is an amazing piece of information. Every time I hear from you, I learn something new.
So let's talk about value. The heart of the city is Yonge Street. It's the center of our city. No matter how north or no matter how south, it is the landmark of our city. And especially in the southern part, it's driven by the subway, which creates a bunch of convenience opportunities. That's where businesses want to open. That's where plazas are built, condominiums are built. But that's where some of the most expensive real estate sits.
Absolutely.
If you go west of Yonge, right, we call it the West Core, Bay and University. The last launches you've seen on those 2 streets, I can't even remember. They don't come around often because a lot of that land just isn't available to assemble. And when they do come, they come once every couple of years. So the pricing just is always jumping. It's a huge price jump. And that product today would be $2,000 a foot maybe even more, maybe slightly less depending on the product. And then so you go equal distance to Yonge East. And suddenly you're not talking about those numbers, right? You're talking about Church, Jarvis, Sherbourne, Parliament. And no one wants to talk about Sherbourne and Parliament, but I'm here to tell you that you have no choice. You're going to see development there. And you can either be someone that sits on the sidelines and says, I can't believe this is happening. 5 years from now, you're going to drive by and say, what happened? I can't believe this. Or you can be someone that understands that there's no other option if you want to be south of Bloor, as close to Yonge as possible. Your options are Church, Jarvis, Sherbourne, Parliament. And that is the future. So you can either sit on the sidelines and watch it happen, or you can take advantage of that to ride that wave, to see that growth happen. And so that's why I think the East Core has a ton of value, because today it's changing. Day by day, it's being revitalized. It's getting changed, just like Regent Park, just like VMC, just like Liberty Village. When Regent Park first launched 10 years ago, how many years ago, it wasn't that attractive. People didn't understand it, but they told you the plan. There's going to be 10, 15, 20 buildings. There's going to be schools and community centers, and people still didn't jump at it. But they told you the plan. So how could you possibly be surprised that a company like Daniels, in partnership with the city, now today the prices are $1,200 a foot. So the information, the data was there for you to make an educated decision to capitalize on it, and you didn't. This is no different. So you have to be a visionary. You have to be able to think outside of what it looks like today. Because if you want what it looks like today, you're going to go to Yorkville, you're going to pay $2,000 a foot. Oh, you don't want to pay that? Guess what? You're going to come to the East Core. Right? So that's, for me, the downtown core, what you're seeing, the values. the price points, the opportunity. This is where the opportunity is, and you have to be a visionary to see it, to understand it, or it's just going to pass you by, and you're just going to go further and further outside, and the people that see it are the ones that will benefit.
Understood. This question, the one I'm going to ask you, is not here, but this just came in my mind. Where do you see downtown Toronto market as compared to international markets? Because many times when investors hear and they say the price is so high, how high it can go.
Right.
So looking at the international markets, where do you see and like what kind of growth you're seeing in coming future?
It's hard to say because, people that are here are in this bubble. Like they don't care about New York City. Like it doesn't matter to them that they pay more, right? It's one of those things where it's a personal concern. But if you were to try and lay out, our average prices versus any other major metropolitan like the Hong Kongs, New York, Manhattan, LA, we are very affordable relative to those communities. But we haven't had the time that they've had to grow. We haven't had the time that they've had to become these. I mean, Manhattan's been building for, it's been decades.
Yes.
Toronto has been asked to become this major city in the last 5 years. And we've got very limited infrastructure to support this burden of becoming, the main economic and cultural and entertainment icon of our country. So you can build all these condos, but you're not building new highways, you're not building new subways, and when you do, it's taking decades to build. So that's why everyone's going to come back downtown, is because the frustration of commuting to work. How do I make money? I got to come back to the core. If you think working from home is forever, you're absolutely wrong. You're going to see people gravitate back down to the downtown core. So, we are cheap in the international scale. We have a lot of room for growth. A lot of people are recognizing Toronto as a safe haven for business, a place to migrate. A place to raise your family and your kids. GTA in particular, Ontario, Canada as a whole. You're seeing immigration numbers pump into the country. You're seeing a huge innovation in technology for employment. Like Toronto is growing in so many different sectors, so many different industries, and so many different facets that you can't stop it from happening. It's just going to happen. And Toronto will not be the Toronto that you knew 5 years ago.
Yes.
It will not be the wholesome. It'll be a different metropolitan, and because of its trajectory and because of its potential, and for good or bad, it will change. But it will change for the most part for the good.
Awesome. So there is so much room to grow. Less supply, huge demand.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Another question. So we have talked about the city. Now let's talk about the building. I personally believe building amenities can make or break a deal.
Yes.
Let's talk about the building and the amenities it's offering.
And when we'll talk about amenities, and I think what's important is, especially in resale and rental, that's really where amenities shine. In today's stage, it sounds good, it's hard to conceptualize. You don't really know what it means until you see it and you believe it and you feel it and you can live it, because that's what it is. Amenities are things you live. The building itself is a beautiful building. It's a 45-story building that houses 595 suites, unique opportunities, and I think what makes the building very interesting is its design. You've got this black metal panel, which is very unique. It's not just a full glass building with gold trims. And that's the type of building that invokes a premium. You can tell, like grid. You can see grid condos from a mile away with the zigzag in the design. Same with 411 Church with the honeycomb layouts. And this is no different. This is not our first time in Toronto's downtown East Core. This is our fifth, our sixth building. So we actually have had the opportunity to really understand what floor plans sell well, what floor plans rent well, what type of amenities are actually used post-construction. Those are the things that are quite valuable. So, let's talk about amenities. Let's talk about the building. When you walk into a building, the lobby is your first impression. So that is key to us. It's making sure that people feel a premium. They feel a certain energy, a certain dynamic that sort of goes, that they can expect throughout the rest of the building. And that's important for us, and that's important for all of our buildings moving forward. It's really important that that first step sets the tone. But let's talk about amenities, because the amenities are an extension of your suite.
Yes.
Instead of doing all these little amenities that are very specialized, like e-gaming lounges, or pet spas, and those are great amenities, those are creative amenities, or music rooms, but they're not for everyone, and they don't get used, and now everyone's paying amenities for things they don't use, and that's a problem in resale, right? Whether you use the gym or not, when you do a showing with someone and you show them a gym that's 6,000, 6,500 square feet, and it's rare because no one really does that except us, that will change someone's mind.
Absolutely.
When you've got a really unique, dynamic shared co-working space, for example, resale, I had an agent tell me the reason why they bought at 411 Church on resale is because they had breakout rooms, they had spaces to work. These are important values for people in the neighborhood. You know, we understand who lives here. So we've got this shared co-working space that's dynamic. Why? Because you work from home. So you don't have to work from the condo, you can work from that space. You can collaborate. You can get to know your neighbor. It's a lounge. It's an entertainment area. So it's very versatile in that regard. Then you've got outdoor space. So rather than doing a bunch of small things, we took the 3 or 4 things that really matter, that are truly important to people, and because of COVID, we made them huge spaces. So we've got a lot of ability to be socially distanced, at least today. But it's because we understand who's living in these buildings. Young professionals, students, faculty members in administration, medical students, young medical professionals, people in tech. Those people are in and out, in and out, in and out, focused on their career, focused on their lifestyle. And having these amenities are the things that are important to them. So they don't have to travel to the gym. Like, they're cutting that process out. 6,500 square feet is a substantial size. Like, I don't know what kind of house you live in, but it's 6 or 7 times bigger than what I live in. So you can conceptualize 6,000 square feet, then that's a gym. Like, that's a facility.
Wow.
So anyhow, it's a beautiful building and a great location by, I think one of the most thoughtful developers in the city. And I think the growth potential in the East Core is absolutely astronomical.
Let's talk about floor plans, because this is something magical about your floor plans. Every time I see them, it's like so seamless. It's so free flowing.
Yeah.
Your buildings look amazing from outside, and floor plans are great.
Yeah. Functional.
Yeah, it's like I don't see that in most of the projects.
Right. Look, I think we spend a lot of time. It's a collaborative effort, right? When development, sales and marketing, construction, customer care, we're all sitting in the room together, and we're all collaborating. Floor plans are often one of the biggest conversations in design. And for us, it's not trying to take away the functionality or the maximization. We're actually trying to reduce the space to have the same functionality, the same maximization of space. And so you're still getting your really spacious dens. We're just trying to trim on the seams to give your buyers the most attractive price points, and give them save them on maintenance fees, right? And those are the little things that we do as a development company organization to ensure that our buyers are in the best position possible. Because if you look at 411 Church, you look at Grid, those are top performing buildings because of the floor plans, because of the amenities, because of the location. On resale, per foot rent, per foot resale. So, the floor plans are a big part of our identity. They're a big part of what makes us sell so well. And for the most part, it's feedback from you and your buyers that give us the right information in order to design these.
Absolutely. And whenever I invest and I guide my clients to invest, I always see the end plan in mind. If you ever want to resell the property, your prospective buyer will look into floor plans for sure. So that's something so unique about your product. Next question. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I know I'm taking a lot of time.
Not at all.
Okay. I work with a lot of investors. Pretty much 95% of my clients are investors.
Right.
What do you think, who would be the potential tenant and potential resale if they ever want to sell the unit?
Well, look, I never want to speculate, because real estate should be viewed as a long-term investment vehicle. You're building wealth, you're leveraging yourself.
Absolutely.
You're refinancing that product, you're trying to build generational wealth, right? So we talked about the values of downtown West Core versus East Core and the potential. So you can see the writing on the wall that there's a huge opportunity to catch up. Now, in terms of who's living in these buildings, is again, when you're downtown, you've got all these different industries, all these different pockets, so many options. You can cast such a wide net. Whereas in other communities, who, you know, in the 905, you really have to think about who's going to rent this. And if you don't know, that's the difference between downtown and 905, is that downtown, it can be someone in tech, it could be a student, international student, faculty, administration, someone in law, someone in finance, someone in entertainment, someone in the medical field. Like it's so dynamic. It can be anyone. But I think the fact that you've got this rental pool of students, that's level one. And if you don't like that, like I said, you move on to the next, you move on to the next. Mm-hmm. What makes prime in downtown far more superior to any other opportunity in the GTA is that you get to choose. You get to choose your tenant. You get to control the situation. Not to say that you don't have that opportunities elsewhere, but here you're going to have the highest quality. You're going to have the biggest demand. You're going to be able to draw from the biggest pool. So then that gives you the power to decide.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. I have heard you a few times saying 2021 is the year of the condos.
Yes, everyone's saying that now.
Yeah, I used to hear other things, that this year is the some animal or something. This is the very first time I heard that 2021 is the year of the condos.
Yes.
So share your thoughts on that.
You know, we said that in October, and we were very bold, and it wasn't anything that was rocket science.
Yeah.
It was going to be the year of condos because of how low-rise was behaving.
Mm-hmm.
And they work, there's a synergy between detached, semi-detached townhouse product and the way condos behave, right? It's you know, getting priced out. Mm-hmm. It's seeing a massive gap, disparity between the two products, but also because when you look at the frustrations of your buyers buying resale low-rise, they're getting priced out literally minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week. The most affordable product has been, will always be condos. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, they're always going to, well, you know, when they deduce the stress and they deduce, you know, affordability, yeah, some people will land their dream home and, you know, and pay a, you know, maybe a premium, but most people will take a step back and say, maybe condo is my only option. Why? It's affordable. Mm-hmm. They're typically in very unique, convenient nodes. That's what condominium living is about. It's a convenience. You know, we keep talking about location and developer brand, but it is a lifestyle. For those of you that live in condos, you go in, you go out. There's no, you know, there's no shoveling. There's no, you know, the maintenance isn't a whole lot of work. That is something that the next generation is really gravitating towards.
Absolutely.
And we're getting trained. 10 years ago, it was not normal. It was not normal to sell pre-construction. Yes. It was not normal to live in a condo. But we've evolved, and we will continue to evolve, just like the downtown East Core will continue to evolve. And so, you know, there's a lot of answers to that question. But you know, that's what I have to say about that, and it's just that price disparity, and you're seeing it firsthand. People are now coming back downtown. You know, right now the market's hotter than I think it's ever been.
Absolutely.
Does not include immigration on full force. Doesn't include international students on full force. Yes. Doesn't include tourism pretty much at all, and it doesn't include international business. What do you think will happen when those four open? The faucet opens.
Yes.
You have no chance. And what will happen will be so fast, so swift, so shocking, that if you thought you couldn't afford today, just wait until there's a vaccine rollout full-fledged. That is what I am anxious to see.
Yes.
And you can be on the sidelines that will watch it happen, mm-hmm. or you can be proactive now and think about building your wealth.
Agree. So now we got a great location, a great builder, fabulous project. Last thing, pricing.
Yeah, look, I think we're going to be very competitive. It's going to be the most affordable condominium in the downtown core. And the big part of that is our floor plans, the way we maximize them. And, you know, you'll see studios in the high 4s, you know, our junior 1-bedroom in the 5s, our 1-bedrooms in the 6s, our 1+1s in the 7s, our 2-bedrooms in the 7s and the 8s, you know. So that price pocket rivals any other community in the 905, right? Like it's you know, the value is here, the location is here, the builder is here. This is a no-brainer opportunity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How can my clients make sure they secure their unit?
Well, first of all, they're your clients, so they're gonna connect with you to learn more. I think the first step is education.
Okay.
Because now is the time to learn. We're going to be launching mid-April, and if you're learning now, you're not learning when it's too late.
Absolutely.
When you're selling buildings, like again, like you know, we're very fortunate that we've got great success and there's a lot of demand. But when you're in that environment, let's say that does take place, you don't have time.
Absolutely.
That is too late to learn about where is this. Like now's the time to learn about where is it, what's going on, who's the builder brand. I'm ready, I'm committed, I have the funds, I know my budget, I know what I want to buy. So that when it comes time, it's just yes, no.
Absolutely.
Not, you know, so you're going to call this beautiful woman right here, you're going to learn more about the builder brand, the location and all of that, and then you're going to move forward and you're going to look at Prime as the #1 option.
Absolutely, and I will not be surprised if we sell this project out within 5 days this time.
You know, we're hoping for great outcomes, and
Absolutely.
with your support, I'm sure we'll be there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.